Hey y'all, we are back for day 32 of our devotional. Hope that you are enjoying going through this. Maybe not enjoying is the right word, but you are really being blessed by going through this however and whenever you are. So let's get into our devotional for today. Day 32, free indeed. If the Son sets you free, you are free indeed. John 8, verse 36. This is where I make my big confession. I haven't been walking in total freedom from food like I once did. That doesn't make anything I've told you untrue. It's all God's truth. It simply means that somewhere along the journey, I gave some ground back to the enemy. That lie got me in trouble. The lie that got me in trouble was this: once you are free, you can never be bound again. Logically, we understand that a former alcoholic will always have to avoid beer. There is always the possibility that he will fall back into that old temptation. So it is with an addiction to food. There can be a total freedom in Christ. Yes, indeed, that's God's truth in John 8:36. However, the enemy knows where our weaknesses are, and he will come back eventually with that same temptation. That's why we can never let our guards down and think, I've got this down pat now. I did, and that was the sin of pride. Just let me tell you from experience, finding the freedom once you've had it and lost it is much harder than finding it the first time. Here's the thing though. I've never stopped fighting the good fight of faith, and I've never gone back to where I started. I told you I gave ground to the enemy, but he hasn't conquered me. I've never given up and said, oh, forget it. I'm just going to pig out. I've never stopped praying for God's help. Instead of walking in total freedom, I have just walked a path of murky half obedience, which is disobedience. Not eating as much as I want, but more than God says is enough. You don't want to go there. Honestly, I didn't want to obey God's call to write this book because I felt like a hypocrite. How dare I think I'm qualified to give any advice in this area? That's the taunt of Satan to me. I've been trying to wait until I get a complete sense of freedom again in this area. But you know what? God has allowed this struggle to re-emerge in me, partly for your sake. He wanted me to experience, not just remember, what you feel like. He wanted me to walk this journey with you day by day, and I am. We are in the same boat. God doesn't need my help to help you. He could deliver you directly. But for some reason, he chooses to use imperfect people to accomplish his purposes on the earth. I am certainly one of those imperfect people. I think Moses' escape from Egypt in Exodus 2. Think about. He was free and clear of Pharaoh. He had started a new life in Midian with a wife and family. Happy days. But the Israelites groaned in their slavery and cried out, and their cry for help because of their slavery went up to God. Exodus 2, verse 23. It was not happy days for the Israelites. God was sending Moses back to that place of slavery. So now go. I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt. But Moses said to God, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt? Exodus 3, verse 10 and 11. I am not qualified to write this book. That's true, but it's not my book. It's God's. And he is perfectly able to use anyone, even me, to share his heart of truth and freedom. This is what you are to say to the Israelites. I am has sent me to you. Exodus 3, verse 14. I have come to believe that my freedom is tied to yours. God is blessing me with a greater sense of freedom in the obedience of writing this than I've had in a long time. God's mercy is fresh as a daisy in my life today. The Son has set me free, and I am free indeed. All right, y'all, that was day 32 of our devotional. I hope as you're reading through this, whenever that is, that it is blessing you, and I will be back again with day 33. Have a good night.